Shall we please be seated? Respectfully, shall we please rise as we welcome Nananom? So before the opening prayer, shall we all rise as surveyors for the anthem?
Every
we are standing, I'll call on Surveyor Isaac Blebo for the opening prayer. Shall we welcome him?
Thank you, B. Let's pray. Our Lord and our Master Jesus, we want to thank you so much for a day like this, a day that you've ordained for us to rejoice and be glad in. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us as land surveyors. We thank you for all that you've done for us as professionals. We thank you, Jehovah God Almighty, for the traveling mercies granted us from far and near to gather this day, O Lord. We ask for clearance of speech. We ask for clearance of thought. We commit all the presenters into your care, and we ask that everything that will be discussed here this day, Lord, let it go a long way to affect us as professionals and also to push our nation forward, that the development that we want for our nation, Jehovah God Almighty, will emanate from this seminar. We thank you even for the life of those who are yet to join us, and we ask the Lord, may you bring them here safely, that together we'll be careful to give the praise, glory, and honor unto you. We commit the rest of the programs into your care, Lord, and we ask that you will lead us through and through, that at the end, Father, we'll be careful to give the praise unto you. We thank you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Amen. Please, let's take our seats. I would, at this point, because I think we are already behind time, so I want to call on the Planning Committee Chair, Surveyor Harry Nethi, Esquire, to give us his remark or welcome address. Thank you.
Distinguished and honorable guests, Nananum, members of Parliament, Honorable Minister, fellow participants, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time we are meeting as a body of land surveyors after COVID-19 lockdown in 2020 and its antecedent social distancing and ban on social gathering. Though we are not completely out of the woods yet, with other even more dangerous virus called Marburg virus, a highly infectious virus disease. It is our prayer that vaccines or antiviral treatments will be found sooner. In the meantime, let us all adhere to the COVID-19 protocols to continue to keep safe. It gives me great pleasure to extend to you all a very warm welcome on behalf of the Land Surveying Division of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors and the Planning Committee. We have resumed our annual physical meeting to deliberate on how we, as land surveyors, will collaborate with other professionals, especially in the built environment. We desire to deepen our collaboration with the physical planners to give Nananum, the citizens of Ghana, and investors the best service they deserve through the presentations and technical papers outlined in the seminar brochure. Fellow participants, ladies and gentlemen, this seminar is by us and for us. So make every effort to get the most out of it to enrich your profession as land surveyors. May I be quick to add that you should not hesitate to approach any member of the Planning Committee. The tag they have is white. So any Planning Committee member or any member you see in white tag is a Planning Committee member. You can approach any of us for assistance since we are here to serve you and make your stay here in Sunyani a memorable one. On this note, on behalf of the Planning Committee and on my own behalf, I wish you all a very successful and memorable Land Surveying Division 2022 seminar here in Sunyani, and please do enjoy the serene Taiko City Hotel facilities. I thank you and God bless us all.
Next on our program is a statement from the Divisional Chair, Surveyor Isaac Labi. Let us welcome him with a clap.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests of honor, Nananum, fellow participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. We are grateful to God Almighty for keeping us all alive since the last time we physically met as a body of land surveyors. It is my greatest pleasure to extend my warmest welcome to you all at this august occasion. Distinguished participants, land surveying over the past years has been recognized as a profession that dealt with activities only on land. So when other areas are mentioned, the professional title land surveyor is least acknowledged. Land surveyors are the first to enter the wild and inhospitable jungles and mosquito-infested swamps to cut the first lines which ultimately form the highways, dams, bridges, rail tracks, airports, houses, electric power lines, and the likes. The design and implementation of any development, including layout schemes, depend on accurate data information provided by the land surveyor. This same land surveyor further has the responsibility to personally set out in the field the design elements of the proposed development. Again, she has an auditing role of controlling and monitoring the process to make sure that all structures are set out to design specifications until completion. Fortunately, the surveying and mapping profession in Ghana fully identifies with the aspirations of the government to bring development closer to the people. However, the problem is that the services of land surveyors are usually neglected to the detriment of the nation. Up to now, the importance of our profession is seriously underrated and unrecognized in society. Hence, the urgent need to acknowledge and appreciate the utilization of these our incredible attributes, critical mass of knowledge and experience to help move our dear country forward. Mr. Chairman, distinguished participants, the country has suffered tremendously on the environmental front, where infrastructural development has taken place haphazardly without any control or adherence to lay down design schemes. Ghana as a country has heavily depended on its natural resources to pursue her economic development agenda. Parcels of land meant for specific purposes are being misapplied for different uses at the expense of the needed facility. Most of the challenges in economic growth and development can be attributed to infrastructure development. Some of the challenges are also as a result of wrongly positioned developmental projects on the surface of the land without the involvement and consultation of the land surveyor to determine the actual position of these structures. Proper planning for physical developments require maps and plans prepared by land surveyors, showing the locations of existing features, infrastructures, and nature of the terrain. Most of the planning, design, and development of layout schemes do have little or no survey input. These lapses must be redressed and the correct procedure adopted to have a meaningful development of the land. This year's seminar that is themed Coordinated Implementation and Management of Local Plans Schemes for Socio-Economic Development of Ghana has become very necessary and timely to enlighten participants and the nation as a whole that the role played by the land surveyor cannot be underestimated. It is an opportunity to discuss challenges of our noble profession and its impact on the socio-economic development in the country. Coordination between stakeholders is very paramount, hence the need to significantly acknowledge the role played by each stakeholder to achieve the purpose of the theme. This coordination falls in line with the mandate under Article 258(1)(b) of the 1992 Constitution, which is repeated in Section 5(b) of the Lands Commission Act 2008, Act 767, and I quote, "The Commission shall advise the government, local authorities, and traditional authorities on the policy framework for the development of particular areas of Ghana to ensure that the development of individual pieces of land is coordinated with the relevant development plan for the area concerned," unquote.
Good morning. So the chairperson for this session is a chartered quantity surveyor and project manager with over 37 years of experience in the built environment. She has worked with both private and public sector clients. She is a fellow of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors and a member of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors. Her academic qualifications are MBA in Construction and Real Estate from the University of Reading, UK, a postgraduate diploma in Project Management awarded by the Royal Institution of Surveyors, and a BSc in Building Technology from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi. As one who believes that continuous education keeps one abreast with or ahead of the times, she has been taking a number of short courses and also been to several seminars and conferences. She is the founder and principal consultant in Oshdali Consult, a quantity survey and project management consulting firm in Ghana. Her company is currently the only quantity surveying consulting firm registered with the Ghana Institution of Surveyors that has been founded and led by a woman. She is a sought-after resource person for different professional trainings and programs. She was admitted as a professional member of the Ghana Institution in 1989. She was the chairperson of the Quantity Surveying Division of the institution, the first woman to hold that position in the division. During this period, she led the strategic moves of strengthening the division's regional presence in the country, as well as highlighting globalization and ICT for quantity surveys. She has been a council member of the Africa Association of Quantity Surveyors, AAQS, since 2013, and currently she is the vice president for the Western region of Africa. She is the coordinator for relations between the institution and the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors. During the last 6 years, she has been a member of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors Sub-Region Africa Market Advisory Panel. She has been part of different meetings and consultations and worked with different people from diverse backgrounds and expertise. She is currently the president of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors and the first woman quantity surveyor to ascend to that position. Her professional value is that ethical behavior must be paramount in the work of surveyors and that integrity must be demonstrated in the services they provide. She is an ordained Reverend Minister of the Gospel at the Living Streams International, a charismatic church in Ghana. She is married to Reverend Dr. John Isubontin, and they have been blessed with 2 children. Please help me welcome our chairperson for the opening session, Surveyor Reverend Rose Margaret Isubontin, with a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that introduction. I accept to be the chairman for this session. I want to extend a very warm welcome to all our distinguished guests. You're very welcome. I'm really excited to be here with you today, and I'm glad to see so many of you have taken time off to be here at your annual seminar. I am happy that you're actually reflecting on different aspects of your profession as land surveyors and the roles you play in the socio-economic development of our country. I want to encourage each one of you to participate fully in the 2-day program and get the most out of it. I trust that you will have really engaging and successful deliberations as you delve into the issues outlined for the different sessions. Thank you, and be very, very attentive and get the most of the day.
I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the Regional Commander, DCOP Joseph Jamra Oklu. Shall we acknowledge him with an applause? Also, one of our own, a past president, Surveyor James Dodson, the Executive Secretary of Lands Commission. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Timbo Lana, the Director of Survey and Mapping Division of the Lands Commission. Also, the Vice President of the Federation of International Surveyors, Surveyor Kwame Tinedu Jr. We'll continue to acknowledge them as and when. So I would like to call upon our second vice, Surveyor Dr. Akweje, to do us the honors of introducing our regional minister. Shall we acknowledge him with an applause?
Surveyor President and Chairman of the occasion, with your permission, I would like to introduce our guest of honor for this occasion. She is a product of Techiman Secondary School and Achirensua Secondary School. Her passion for teaching took her to Atebubu Training College, where she obtained Teacher's Certificate A. She then pursued her first degree in an MPhil in Religious Studies at the University of Cape Coast. She's currently pursuing her PhD in Religious Studies. As a teacher by profession, she has passionately been impacting lives through teaching for the past 25 years, both at the basic and tertiary levels of our educational system. She was once a lecturer at the Brekum College of Education and a part-time tutor at Jackson College of Education and St. Ambrose College of Education, all in the Bono region. Surveyor President, in May 2019, she was appointed the Municipal Chief Executive of Sunyani, where she chairs several committees, including Municipal Security Council, District Education Oversight Committee, Municipal Health Committee, Executive Committee, and many others. As a result of her humility, commitment, respect, and by dint of her hard work to the people of Bono and His Excellency, the President of Ghana, she was subsequently promoted to be the Bono Regional Minister in March 2021. Interestingly, she is one of the two women who had the opportunity to be appointed as the regional minister in the second term of His Excellency the President. She is popularly called Awo. It means a lot in the region due to her motherly care. Shall we please welcome Honorable Justina Owusu Banahene, the regional minister.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, today is one of the days that I'm very happy to be part of a group of this nature. Thank you. The reason simple, that if you have all these men and women managing our land, and the owners of the land, that is the Nanom, are here together, then it means that indeed there's a way forward, and that our system will be put in order. I'm happy to be here. Mrs. Asubontin, Reverend, a surveyor, I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of all the women gathered here. I'm not a feminist anyway, but I'm proud of all the women here. And the reason being that whilst we were schooling, it's about science, it's about geography, it's about measurement here and there. And you know, we the women, in most cases, will be running away from this field. And so if today we have all these women supporting the system, and we have our chairperson being a woman, and me too being a woman, but I want to assure we the women that beside every successful woman, there are men. And that's why the men are also here. Amen. We appreciate you, we honor you. The chairperson, Surveyor Reverend Mrs. Rose Margaret Asubontin, President of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs, Omaihene, Osajifo, Osiadeyo, Dr. Ajmanbedu II. Nananom, President, Ghana Institution of Surveyors, the Chairman, Land Surveying Division, the Chairman and Executives of the Planning Committee, members of Ghana Institution of Surveyors, members of the media hearing present, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor to be part of this prestigious opening ceremony of the annual Land Surveyors Seminar. I wish to convey the pleasant compliments and felicitations of the Bono Regional Coordinating Council, and equally to register my heartfelt appreciation to the organizers for the kind invitation extended to me to be part of this program. I am most grateful to the Almighty God for His traveling mercies granted to us all to travel from far and near to the Bono Regional Capital, Sunyane, to be part of this very important program. Reverend Chairperson, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nananom, land surveyors play an integral role in the development of our nation. Survey information is essential for the planning and design of land subdivisions through the final construction of roads, utilities, and landscaping. It is their finished products that are attached on instruments for land registration. As a matter of fact, land surveyors are the first people on any planning scheme, construction site, measuring and mapping the land. In general, land surveyors identify phases of development, especially
within towns and fixed period for implementation depending on the size of development to avoid unnecessary delays. Madam Chair, Nananom, I am reliably informed the theme for this seminar is coordinated implementation and management of local plans for socio-economic development of Mother Ghana. Underscores the non-important role Ghana Institution of Surveyors play in the socio-economic development of the nation. As you are no doubt aware, local plans are detailed plans which proposes a dimensionally accurate disposition of the land by function and purpose to meet the present and future identified community needs within a stipulated time frame. Land surveyors and physical planners have key roles and responsibilities to ensure the coordinated implementations of these local plans as enshrined in the Lands Act 2020, Act 1036, and the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority, Act 2016, Act 925. These plans, when effectively and efficiently implemented, will serve as a catalyst to drive socio-economic development in the areas involved and Ghana at large. Proper feasibility and viability study of construction and zoning of wetland and building regulation by stakeholders must be encouraged. In this regard, it is extremely important for industry players such as Ghana Institution of Surveyors to fashion out plans that will conform to the broad land use classification prescribed for you in the structure plan and implemented when required. All local plans should be prepared based on the current, standard, and approved geo-reference maps, line maps, and orthophotos with a scale of 1:1,500 or larger. Times I can say when you know, better than meeting you. Undoubtedly, this annual seminar marks an important milestone for the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. It offers you the platform to take stock of your past performance, reflect on some achievements, key challenges identified, and collectively chart the way forward for accelerated development of Ghana Institution of Surveyors. This seminar will again help you to renew your commitment to providing quality services to the good people of Ghana. I wish to entreat participants to pay keen attention and contribute effectively to the discussion so that at the end of the seminar, the experiences and additional knowledge gained will enable you to improve upon your service delivery and more significantly contribute to the growth and development of Mother Ghana and especially Bono, as we are having the program here. The government will soon pass the Survey Council Bill to regulate the surveying business in the country. This will help you as an institution of enviable reputation to take steps to weed off the activities of quack surveyors whose conduct is affecting the hard-earned reputation of the institution and land administration, resulting in many land disputes. Reverend Chair, Nananom, distinguished members here in presence, before I take my seat, permit me to touch on an important issue that is of great concern to the President of the Republic, His Excellency, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and that is the growing trend of terrorism within the sub-region. As a result, the Say Something, Say Something National Awareness Day is scheduled to take place on 25th September 2022. We should all be on the lookout and be each other's keeper. Let us report suspicious activities of people or a group of people to the security agencies for immediate actions. At this juncture, I officially declare the annual seminar open. I wish to once again thank the organizers for the kind invitation to share these few thoughts with you. I wish you a successful seminar. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Madam. May I take your permission to call you Awo? Thank you so much. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the following. Our Senior Vice President, Surveyor Alhaji Suleimana Mahama. Shall we acknowledge him with an applause? Our Vice President, Surveyor Dr. Anthony Akweje. Our Honorary Treasurer, Surveyor Peter Adumakun Opoku. Our Honorary Secretary, Surveyor Nana Nyama Chebafo. We are also privileged to have in our midst Architect Isaac Kwejo Amankwa, the Chairman of the Regional Lands Commission, Bono Region. Our Regional Lands Officer, Alhaji Mohammed Habib Alhassan. We also have in our midst a rep from LISAG, Surveyor Bibi Aqua. Also, Surveyor Kofi Obin Ayurebi, QS Chair, and also International Coast Engineering Council Global Vice Chair. We also have our Deputy Executive Secretary, Lands Commission, Surveyor Jones Oforibuedu. We would like to take a musical interlude. So I would like to call upon Surveyor Dr. Akweje to do us the honors of introducing our special guest of honor. Shall we welcome him?
Thank you, MCB. I think if I did not do anything today, as for this one, Surveyor President, I would say that I'm best fit to do the introduction. With your permission, I would like to introduce our special guest of honor for today's function. He is a post-independent Ghanaian, born on 27th May 1966. That makes him a truly Ghanaian, post-independent, so he is really a Ghanaian. Our special guest of honor had his secondary school education at the then Doma Secondary School, Great Domas, from 1979 to 1986. And in fact, he was my senior in the school. So I'm privileged to introduce my senior. He obtained his law degree at the University of Ghana, Legon, in 1990 and was called to the bar in 1992. He is a member of the Association of Magistrates and Judges, Ghana, and a member of the Commonwealth Magistrates and Judges, and a life patron of Bono citizenship of North America and Europe. Our special guest of honor, on the 7th of June, 1999, the Doma man, and in fact, Ghana as a whole, was blessed to have him installed as the 20th Domahene. He is the president of Doma Traditional Council and the president of Bono Regional House of Chiefs. He is a Diana PSA. Our guest of honor likes football. And in fact, he is the live patron and owner of Adiana Football Club. He is a family man, married with 3 children. With an applause, and in fact, standing ovation, shall we welcome our special guest speaker, Adiana Pesie Osajefo Osiadia Dr. Ajimembadu II. Shall we please take our seats?
MC, let me thank you most profusely for introducing me. The chairperson for today's program, the Honorable Regional Minister, MMDC is present, Executive Secretary, Lands Commission, Nananom, the Chairman, Land Surveying Division, Governing Council members, past presidents, distinguished land surveyors, and sister professional bodies present, the Chairman, Bono Lands Commission, Bono Regional Lands Officer here, invited guests, our own police commander for the region, DCOP, invited guests, media, print and electronic, ladies and gentlemen. I have been informed that the theme for this year's Land Surveyors Division of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors Conference is Coordinated Implementation and Management of Local Plans for the Socio-Economic Development of Ghana. And I'm very much delighted to be part of such a conference at a time that resource allocation and planning is becoming a great concern in our country. Let me also register my excitement for the choice of Sunyani for the August occasion in the month of August. We, the chiefs and people, are indeed gratified and surely call on you to be totally at home and enjoy the environmental friendliness and hospitality that exists in our region. The theme, as has been chosen, is derived from the understanding that well-planned and orderly spatial development in our cities and towns is central to socio-economic development of Ghana. Again, as most of you are aware, the new urban agenda adopted at the UN Habitat 3 in Quito, Ecuador, October 20th, 2016, presents a paradigm shift based on the science of cities and lays out standards and principles for the planning, construction, development, management, and improvement of urban areas, Ghana being a member of the UN. The new urban agenda highlights linkages between sustainable urbanization and job creation, livelihood opportunities, and improved quality of life, and as it insists on incorporation of these sectors in every urban development. The new urban agenda highlights the need for different actors in the multiple levels of government, civil society organizations, private sector, and all who reside in urban areas to come together in planning and managing these areas. Over the years, the main actors of the local planning schemes have been land surveyors, spatial planners, with the institutional arrangement hinging on Lands Commission and Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority. The land surveyors, as we are all aware, are the first to survey boundary extend by way of a base map and also interpret same on the ground after the planners put the scheme to work. It is important to note that same collaboration exists in the land registration process. There have been many instances of professionals working in silos and not effectively building the synergies and institutional collaboration that would promote efficient implementation of these local plans. The turnaround time for this delivery is therefore hampered with this bureaucratic arrangements causing delay, loss of revenue, and also promoting haphazard development and planning bottlenecks. The physical presence of surveyors in the various MMDAs is a first step at ensuring implementation and coordination with the planning units. The recent Land Act 2020 also raises the need for surveyors to exert their duty on schemes in an area before registration can commence. We stand to benefit economically as a nation if this arrangement of the coordinating implementation is followed and given the needed attention and commitment. With respect, let me say in this regard, I myself, Nanan of the Brunei region, want to assure you that we are ever prepared to work with you so that together we can all achieve this goal. The land value chain is a huge sector of the economy to be exploited positively than this piecemeal approach that is rather giving a way for quacks to become relevant than the trained professionals. As a traditional leader, I did not discount the crude and fraudulent cooperation of some of us and opinion leaders with tacit support of some surveyors to perpetuate land sales without planning schemes. In this regard, let me refer you to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. As Nananum, we are the custodian of the land, but we are enjoined by the Constitution before we can give out any land to prospective investors and our citizens. That planning ought to have been approved by the Lands Commission. And I want to implore you not to shirk your responsibility in that regard. The new Lands Act is very clear on the sanctions regime, but I also call on the Lands Commission and leadership of the LSD to peer review and bring to book professionals with respect who shamefully involved in some unhealthy practice. Many lives have been lost needlessly, whilst many continue to fight these battles in court, and some very much depressed on this menace. Let me talk to you about a case that was in my court. A plaintiff came to court to sue a defendant, and I have been entrusted with that particular case. We've been hearing evidence with their lawyers for some time. And the way the tempers were in the court, anytime the case is called, I had to cool down them. Unknown to me, the lands that they were both claiming were no one and the same. As a lawyer who were interested in the way the evidence was being adduced, blah, 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 blah. At a point in time, it became evident that we needed a surveyor to come and help us see whether we can resolve the problem. And indeed, he was able to do so. Immediately upon scrutinizing both documents, he was able to help us come to the determination. You see, the two people are claiming lands which are situated in different areas. And indeed, we had to go to the land and realize that it was about 2 miles apart. But meanwhile, we were in court. And yes. So, since that time, any time that I was entrusted with a land matter and I see two people before me, the most important thing that I do is to look at the site plan. If I'm not able to interpret it professionally, to call one of you to see whether it's one and the same land. But in this regard, I want to call on you. I've seen some surveyors, unfortunately, not many though, have come before me, and you see the quality of the job is the root cause of the problem that has been presented to court. So at this juncture, I want to call on you as land surveyors to discharge your professional duty of being ethical in the surveying and setting out of this approved planning scheme. We have witnessed unhealthy conduct, as I told you. Furthermore, the issue of non-compliance with development control regulations is also another major challenge to be looked at. There is abundant evidence to suggest that local plans are not implemented in our towns, and developers blatantly disregard the provisions of local plans in respect of land use. Research has shown that over 70% of the houses on customary lands in Accra are without building permits. I don't know about Sunyani. I'm here to learn, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is something in that region. Indeed, the phenomenon of non-compliance with planning regulations in Ghana is widespread and permeates at all sectors of society, including corporate organizations and high-income neighborhoods, such as in Accra, Jowulu, East Legon, and I dare say part of Sunyani here. For many of our MMDAs, the least said about them having local plans, the better. The foregoing suggests that the implementation of local plans requires a commitment from all stakeholders, chiefs, landowners, departments, agencies, at the MMDAs, etc. Without the involvement of chiefs, traditional authorities, and landowners and citizens, no local plan can be implemented successfully. And in this regard, I'm happy, Nananum, you are here, and you take this one to your people to ensure that the right things are done. As a nation, we cannot succeed in our socio-economic development effort if communities and suburbs do not know where they want to go and how to get there. What local plans is there that we need to provide a roadmap outlining proposals for the disposition and use of land and investment, helping shape the path to economic development. Yet, the benefits of local plans, such as enabling the development of socioeconomic activities, will only become a reality when such plans are implemented. At this juncture, it is therefore crucial to raise awareness of all stakeholders about the importance of local plans in promoting socioeconomic development and interrogate the issues hampering the smooth implementation of these plans. I also wish to emphasize that it is through collaboration among all stakeholders that we can achieve some progress in the implementation of the local plans. As experts in the land sector, with respect, I have no doubt that the discussions that will lead to rethinking of the preparation and implementation of local plans with a view to promoting socio-economic development, if not achieved wholly, will start from Sunyani, our capital here, being the first of its kind to be held. This conference is a small step of Land Survey Division of Ghana Institution of Surveyors, but a giant leap for Ghana towards accelerating efforts aimed at achieving Sustainable Development Goal 8. Before I conclude, let me make a request through the government, planners, and indeed every one of you. Often than not, we have witnessed some demolition of properties that people put on our land, some of them running into several millions of cedis. And I've always been looking at this problem to see how do we stop this one? Because I'm calling on you as surveyors and in the land agencies, all of you here, is to develop a scheme where people will not go onto land to develop when they are not owners. Come to think of a land owned by the people of Ghana, that we allow several people, about thousands, to develop. Only in the long run to take a decision, all of them had to go down. I am not a believer of demolishing lands, because after all, how much do we have as citizens? Not quite long in Accra, you realize that some people properties had to be grazed down. If you imagine the cost, and we have given this money to the government, to MMDAs, it would have achieved a lot for Ghana. So the time has come for us to enforce all the regulations that we have, so that people will not build up to a point that they are grazed down for them to lose all what they have sunk in. Some of them have even died in the course of all this. So there's a need for us all to ensure that if the land does not belong to Mr. A or B, we don't allow them to develop, let alone having it grazed down, because all this go into waste, and Ghana, in the long run, suffer for it. I want to conclude by wishing you all a fruitful deliberations. And before I take my, whilst coming, I thought of you coming here, and then I didn't know how to assist. I look at the program, I didn't see anything on the table. But I think as custodians of this land, and on behalf of Nananum, of the region, it behoves on me to contribute my quota to the deliberations that you'll be having here, which will cause invariably your association something. So, engineer, with respect, whilst coming, I brought a token. It's just small, but it's to tell you that we believe in whatever you're doing. It's a donation of 10,000 Ghana cedis. Thank you. I wish you a fruitful deliberation. God bless LSD, GHS. God bless Bonomai, and God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you very much for your attention. I didn't write the name, so the name is Frank. So they may fill in. I don't know. Or if you give me the name.
Shall we please give Nana another round of applause? Nana has made us aware of the fact that he is our father and part of us as land surveyors. Let's give him another round of applause. In Nana's entourage, we have one of our own, a former lecturer. Now, the Sanahene of Doma traditional area, Bafo Dr. Damwa Afari. It tells us Nana is very serious about land surveyors. Let's give him another round of applause. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our past presidents, Surveyor Jonathan Abose, Surveyor James Ebo Datson, one of our past presidents. And then we also have our immediate, I always say he's immediate. So we have our immediate past president, Surveyor Dr. John Koku Amaglo. We also have in our presence Surveyor Meister Efriye, who is a past governing council member. Shall we acknowledge his presence? Surveyor Christian Akwa, immediate past LS chairman. And our former executive director of GHIS, Surveyor G.A. Atieku. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of the LS chairman, Surveyor Isaac Labi, and all his council members. Shall we have a musical interlude?
Thank you very much for that wonderful performance. I want to use this opportunity to introduce one of our dignitaries as well. Want to acknowledge the presence of Surveyor Dr. Joseph Koku Amaglo, Shadow IPP. We also want to acknowledge our sponsors. We have our first sponsor to be Lands Commission. Our second sponsor Joe Amajomatics Consult Limited. Our third sponsor, Bison Service. And we have DowTech as our fourth sponsor. All right. And also to the Doma Traditional Council for the wonderful donation. Let us appreciate them once again. We now have time to receive solidarity message from some of our other professions. So we want to call on FIG, the International Vice President, to give us a solidarity message from FIG. That will be followed by ISEC, QS, VES, and LASAC. So the reps should be making themselves ready. Thank you. FIG first.
Madam Chair, President, Ghana Institution of Surveyors, Omahine of the Doma Traditional Area, Madam Awu, Regional Surveyor, distinguished guests on the high table here in assembled, among the traditional council members, I can find my own classmate, Sanahin of the Doma Traditional Area. Nana. Ladies and gentlemen, fellows of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, it's always a privilege to be with you. I'm in Sunyani, and I feel very nostalgia about Sunyani. The Bono region. I schooled at the Wenchi Secondary School then, for my primary and secondary education. So I feel very nostalgic when I'm here. The regional commander of the police and I blew our covers this morning when we stayed at the holding room. And I'm going to repeat it here. He and I found our resident dictators in Sunyani here. We found our gems and commander-in-chiefs of our homes for life here in Sunyani. On behalf of the Council of the International Federation of Surveyors, I greet you well. The president of FIG, Professor Rudolf Steiger, and the council members extend their heartfelt gratitude that we have been able to hold this occasion, and we are all enjoying the day. As you all know, as land surveyors and as members of the FIG, we would be holding our Congress in Warsaw, they say Warsaw, in Poland, from the 11th to the 15th of September 2022, where we will be electing, very importantly, our next president for the next session. Before then, there will be pre-events. And these pre-events are, as you know, the young surveyors, they form a very big integral part of FIG and the way we work. And therefore, they will have a pre-conference before the main conference. Significantly, there will also be a mining surveyors workshop And I do acknowledge that we have lots of mining engineers amongst us here today, and we do quite a lot of practice area referencing as geodetic engineers. Additionally, there will be a scientific workshop on the authenticity and quality of multi-sensor systems. Nana wants his area mapped. These days, we don't fly with huge aircrafts. There are multi-sensors available to do very medium-sized projects. And FIG has given a day for an analysis and a study on these multi-sensors and how they can actually help in the development of nations. Finally, there will also be surveying and BIM. BIM, as you know, is an acronym for Building Information Management. Before I take my seat, I want to also announce to you that there is an overall theme, and it is volunteering for the future, geospatial excellence for a better living. And it also has several sub-themes. Whilst on my way to take my seat, I want to remind the young surveyors here that I am going to have a wonderful time with you tomorrow, and please make it a point to be there. If you want additional information, you can Google www.fig.net, and you'll find more and better particulars out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, International Vice Chair. I want to call on the Executive Secretary of Lands Commission to give us a message. Let's welcome him with a message.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, for this seminar, and our own President of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, Nana Domahine, our Regional Minister. I also like to call you Awo. Past Presidents of the institution, Governing Council members, Nananum, distinguished guests, my own fellow surveyors, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Lands Commission, the Chairman and members of the Lands Commission, I'd like to say a big congratulations to LS for putting up this spectacular seminar, as has been said earlier on. This is the first time we are meeting in person after COVID, and I hope that the other divisions will also take a cue from this and organize a wonderful annual seminar. The Lands Commission is the institution that perhaps employs the largest number of surveyors, of land surveyors in Ghana. And so we feel very much a part of this seminar. We are part of this family. Indeed, the Director of Surveys, he is the one who issues licenses to all the licensed surveyors here present. And so that places the Lands Commission in a very special way. I'm also happy that Nana has talked about the need for our traditional authorities to ensure that planning schemes precede development. That is what this country needs, and that is what the Lands Commission focuses on. We believe that the reforms, the land reforms that we envisage to start very soon, will bring Nananum on board to ensure that our work as professionals is given the needed support in the years ahead. We are happy to be here, but before I take my seat, let me say that with the generosity exhibited by Nana Domahine, the next time the Lands Commission hosts a conference, we'll be sure to invite him to be part of it. I thank you all for this opportunity, and I wish you a successful stay in Sunyani. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Executive Chair. We want to call on Surveyor Obin Ayuebi to give us a message from ISEC, International Cost Engineering Council, and also on behalf of QS Division. Thank you.
Thank you, MC. Madam Chair, distinguished guests of honor, Madam Regional Minister, I think all protocol observed. On behalf of the Global Chair of International Cost Engineering Council, Angelo Val, we would like to extend our fraternal greetings to the Land Surveying Division. ISEC is a global professional body that brings together quantity surveyors, project managers, and cost engineers around the world. We respect national associations who are the core of our membership, and therefore Ghana Institution of Surveyors as members of ISEC makes it imperative that all members of Ghana Institution of Surveyors are also members of ISEC. Since ISEC believes in professionalism, we agree with the land surveyors on the team that they have selected that seeks to have an overview of how plans are implemented at the developmental level. We would therefore like to entreat all of us as professionals that we all ensure that the professionalism that we carry in doing or providing services to our clients are always upheld. And thus, in one way or the other, will go a long way to reduce disagreements and dispute, as our honorable special guest alluded. On this note, and with the Quantity Surveying Division, we would like to say that we are happy working closely with the land surveyors, because wherever development begins, quantity surveyors and land surveyors are seen. And this collaboration is what we should expect and work together, and not to undermine one another in pursuing our professional duties. We would like to wish you and congratulate all of you for a very successful seminar here in the Bono capital of Sunyani. Thank you.
Thank you, Surveyor Ayebi. We want to call on the Senior Vice to give us a message from the VES. Thank you. Let's welcome him.
Colleagues, I wish to stand on existing protocols to just wish you fraternal greetings on behalf of the chairman of the Evaluation and Estate Surveying Division of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Professionalism, integrity is something that we will continue to hold high. But I have a feeling of nostalgia whenever I see surveyors in their khaki shirts, khaki shorts, and their potis with their boots. It looks like now our emphasis is shifting a little bit to too much of suits. And I think that we should start thinking seriously of going back to the basics. Successful surveying is done in the field. Successful land administration is done from the field. Let's reduce our propensity to depend or over-depend on technology
and just confine ourselves to office and then send rather inexperienced people to the field to gather data for us. Please, let's go back to the basics. And if you are a surveyor, please let the surveying start from the field and not from the office. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alhaji. And he happens to celebrate his birthday yesterday. So you can still smell the birthday. All right. Want to call on the rep of LISAC, Licensed Surveyors Association of Ghana, to give us a message. Let's welcome him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Chair, Regional Minister, Domahene, Nananum, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to represent the President of LISAC, Surveyor Engineer Samuel Abidakun, who is doing another important work somewhere, also in connection with the land survey. As LSD is celebrating its birthday, or let's say that's the festival of LSD, Lisa could not have stayed home, looked at them to do it all alone, as we are all land surveyors. So all we have to say today is LSD, AICO, and we expect that we collaborate with you to make sure we satisfy Nana Domahene's curiosity of we stay out there and a lot of people taking land cases to hate court. We'll make sure we reduce it, Nana. Thank you very much, and AICO LSD.
Thank you, Surveyor Bibi Aqua. I would want to please ask our chairperson, together with the regional minister, to please do us the honors by and join Surveyor Isaac Labi, the divisional chair, to present plaques to our sponsors. So we want to call on a rep from Lands Commission to come for the plaque. Lands Commission. Joe Amajomatics. No, there is. Joe Amajomatics. Let's do it better for them. We call on Bison Survey. Bison Survey. The rep of DAVTEC, DAVTEC Design Group. Thank you very much. We now want to call on Madam Chair to give us her closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have been given a lot to think about today. Running through the two speeches is the fact that there is a way forward for the management of our lands. And there's the need for us to come together to organize and manage the land together. We should try and build synergies and relationships across all the stakeholders so that we do this work effectively. And we should not forget the importance of land surveyors in the resolution of land disputes. And to summarize for today, we are reminded If you do see something, say something. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We want to take the following announcements. The YSN have an exhibition at the back there. So when we are done with the photography, I think we'll move to their session and look at what they have for us. We will be taking our photographs right here. So the dignitaries will come down and the rest of us will be up so that we can make our arrangements and take the pictures. So we now call on our sister Ivy Gladys to give us the vote of thanks.
Madam Chair, Surveyor Reverend Mrs. Rose Margaret Esubontain, Osajefo Osiadia, your daughter Ajiman Bedu II, Honorable Regional Minister Mrs. Justina Owusu Banahene, Governing Council, past presidents of the institution, Nananom, distinguished surveyors, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me first of all give thanks to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. I deem it a great privilege to have been asked to extend a vote of thanks on this historic occasion. Madam Chair, your throbbing joy in service, your vibrating love for the young surveyors, and your challenging vision for the future of this institution, we say thank you. We are grateful for your unfailing availability and support. The Young Surveyors Network will forever remember time with the President. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to our keynote speaker, Osajefo Osiadeyo, Dr. Ajiman Bedu II, for gracing today's occasion. This is a true reflection of the importance that is attached to the committed surveyor of the nation for the development of Ghana. Your thoughts are truly inspired by us. The very presence of the Honorable Minister in today's program, in spite of her tremendous busy schedules, gracing this occasion with this august audience, your appreciation of the young institution, we are grateful. Let me take this opportunity to extend our sincere thanks to our Governing Council and past presidents for their minute-to-minute guidance at every point of time in the institution. I also want to express my gratitude to the invited guests, media, and the participants who believe that we can capture the world by land, by sea, and by air, for we are the change champions. Thank you.
Hello? 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 As you are aware, I have here a check of 10,000 from the Omar Hini of the Doma Traditional Council and the president of Bono Regional House of Chiefs. I want to say, on behalf of LSD and GHIS as a whole, I want to give my greatest honor to what you've donated to us. We are most grateful, and if I had my own, oh please, let's clap for him. Nana, if I had my own will, I would say for the next 3 years, we'll be coming here for our annual seminars. So that at least, if for the first time we're getting 10,000, maybe our next year he'll give us 50,000. Then the third year, it will go to 150,000. We are most grateful and want to assure you that we are always available. Please, you invite me for Accra, I'll come and stay here and help you in everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Surveyor Labi. May I please ask that we stand on our feet as we take our anthem. Let's remain standing and take the closing prayer. Let's pray. Everlasting Father, we are grateful to you once again. We call on you from the beginning of this program, and this is how far you've brought us. We thank you for a successful session, and we pray asking that as we close, those who will be leaving us, Lord, may you grant them traveling mercies to their various destinations, that when they get home, we'll all be careful to give their praise, glory, and honor unto you. We thank you and we bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Instead of us taking the pictures up here, we want to go down so that the delegation of Nananum together with the high table will go down and the rest of us will follow them. Thank you. The next session, we want to start our second session because we are already late. I want to call on my co-MC to introduce the chairperson for the next session, and then we'll kickstart the program. Thank you.
So our chairman for this session was a former Deputy Director of Survey and Mapping Division, also a former Deputy Executive Secretary, the then Finance and Administration. He's also a past president of GHIS. Currently, he is a board member representing GHIS on Lands Commission Board. Shall we acknowledge our chairman, Surveyor Jonathan A. Abose, with an applause, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow surveyors. Welcome back from the short break. Let me once again thank the Executive Committee and the Planning Committee for this honor done me to chair this session. I'm just going to be a ceremonial chair, because we have the MC who is still at post. We have not dismissed them. The MCs are still at post. And then we also have our colleagues who are going to do a presentation. Of course, from the screen, you can see they are getting set. Incidentally, the past 4 years, I served on the commission, regional commission in the central region. So when I saw the subject, I said, hey, my shadow is following me. It was some of the problems we were solving when we couldn't solve, and I vanished from the system. It has appeared in Sunyani. Fellow surveyors, I'm sure we're going to have an exciting session as we look at the challenge we face on the ground. I normally want things to be very practical. Yes, you learn from the book and come and implement it. We were solving it when I left my colleagues, the regional surveyor, to continue. And I'm sure during this session, we'll see whether the solution has been found or it is agenda as usual. So I welcome you back from the break, and we go through this session as we look at planning issues in the perspective of the land surveyor and our colleague, the planners. Thank you very much, and I hope you are going to support me to execute this mandate. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, for accepting to chair the session for us. Before we continue to receive our first presentation, we can't come here without hearing the voice of the man who regulates and directs what we do as professionals or professional land surveyors. And so we want to invite the Director of Survey. I don't want to attempt the title. I'm sure my co-MC will help me with that. Before I start giving out some cows and stuff. So we want to call on the Director of Survey to give us a message before we kickstart the program. Let's welcome him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would want to stand on existing protocols and only tell the story that has brought us here. And well, I understand it's supposed to be with coordinated implementation of planning schemes. And why are we doing it in Sunyani? Issue is that Sunyani is a special case. The special case has to do with a person who had to be the special guest of honor. And indeed, after his speech, I kind of thought that then, I don't think there's a problem here at all. Because I have come to understand that he is very ready to cooperate with us. And being a lawyer, he has even given his story as to the importance of the surveyor when it comes to land registration. So then the question is, what has been the problem? Maybe we were not approaching him the right way. So, having brought us here and chosen the right topic for the occasion, I think that indeed we have come home and we haven't recognized the essence of the surveyor as the first person in every development that we do. The only assurance I can give as the head of the surveying institution is our cooperation. And I would want to assure everybody, the LISAC, LSD, and whoever is interested in proper land registration, that the Director of Survey is always available. We are prepared to give you the best of support. And being the regulators, we will do our best to get the right people out there. So, like I did begin, I think the traditional owner within the Sinyani and its environs have spoken. And I think we no more have those fears of maybe not getting the cooperation that we were expecting. On that note, I will want to kind of again welcome everybody and assure you that the Director of Survey is ready to help in every way possible to make land registration a very smooth one in this country. Thank you.
We can do it better. We can do it better. We can do it better. Thank you very much, Director. Okay. So we want to start with our first presentation to be done by Surveyor Isaac Labi, Central Regional Surveyor. He is going to present to us on the topic Coordinated Implementation of Local Plans, a catalyst to efficient land registration, a case study of Central Region. With that much ado, I want to use this opportunity to invite Surveyor Labi to give us his presentation. Let us welcome him with a clap.
Thank you very much, MC. Sorry, President, EX. I always call him ES because it's a short form of Executive Secretary. All protocol observed. If you see the topic there, it looks so big, but if you look into the brochure, you realize that there is no abstract or any write-up on it. I'm going to go more on the visualization. It's just a teaser into all the presentations that will come up. And it's a typical situation we are facing in the Central Region. So you see the topic nicely crafted in that way. Coordinated implementation of local plans, a catalyst to efficient land registration. It's purely a case study within Kasoa and its environs. So I want us to see the reality on the ground, what is happening. You understand me? And that will lead us into the remaining presentation that will come up. On the preamble, what I'm saying is registration in the Central Region has been very tedious. Major transactions have stalled due to conflicts with already existing transactions. You prepare a plan, you go, you take it to the registration center, they will tell you affected portion, affected area, different terms all over the place. So it's making if you're not having the smooth registration procedure going on. Then clients have access to documents that do not conform to the ground situation. Layouts prepared from topo were used to prepare plans that did not conform to the ground measurements. And then you have plans which are produced from planning schemes that also do not conform to the ground situation. So you can imagine, you go to the commission to do your registration, but you have a plan that does not conform to the ground situation, but you are still doing the registration. So we'll look at few things that is happening physically. Let's go to the next one. Now, we all see how clumsy Kasoa looks like. Kasoa is a virus. This is how it looks like. Very nice. Very, very nice. You see it nice this way, but on the ground, it's horrible. It's very, very horrible. Now, Kasoa per se, that we call it Oduponkpeye. They have over 23 planning schemes. Over 23 planning schemes. And this is one of them. They look very, very nice on paper. Very neat. Designed with the road outlines, the facilities there for school, police station, everything nicely done. This is one of them. This is Sector 1. Let's be moving. And then this is Sector 2. This is Sector 5. Then this sector 13, sector 17, sector 19, sector 21. Then we have another one, sector 22. You see, these are all nicely designed layouts. But I'm telling you, go to the ground, it's a different situation. Where is the problem coming from? And I want to say, please, my presentation is not coming with questions. No one's going to ask me a question. It's just for your, your viewing purpose. I beg, no questions. Because for the questions, for me to answer, I must take it all to Central Region to experience the reality. So you see, sector 23, the plan are neat on paper. Let's go. Then this is the last one I'm showing you. So these ones, all you expect them to be on the ground, but you go to the ground, it's a different thing. What's happening is there could be you can have a plan that is 100 by 100, but on the ground it's maybe 150 by 100. You see a plan supposed to be one plot. You go to the ground, the person has 4 plots. Most of them don't even know they are not able to interpret the plans they go to register. So for them, what they know is their plans are registered. At the end of the day, they will see some dimension and say, no, this dimension here, it doesn't conform to what's on the ground. That's the problem you're having now. Now let's go to the next one. So what we tried to do was, this is the sector 6. It wasn't part of what I showed you, but it's the sector 6. We have converted it into a soft copy, and this is how it is. Actually, all the sectors have to share common boundaries, okay? So this is sector 6. Let's go to the next one. Sector 7, putting the two together in the composite form, what do you have? The next one. So putting the two together, they are supposed to share common boundary, all right? I hope you are getting me. Common boundary. Now, within this area, so you see, these two sectors, they are falling within grid interval, okay? And that grid interval, what we did was, a Central Region is something that was started and I continued. When we approve the plans, we get it plotted. So we have a digital section that we plot all plans that we approve. So now what I did was, within this specific grid interval, all the plans that we have approved, I decided to superimpose them on this composite to see whether they will fit into it. You understand me? Go to the next one. So what you are seeing here are, in fact, there are more than this. What you are seeing here are plans approved, okay? And it's all falling within the contour interval I showed earlier on. These are plans which have been approved. Now we try to superimpose this on the composite layout, and it's very interesting. This is the situation we are having. There's no, you go and do any cadastral work, it does not conform to. And this is what they are using at the Commission for Registration. This is the situation we are facing currently. It's a big problem. Now let me give you some more insight. Please go to the next one. Now this is a composite plan. All right? Now what you are seeing here, there are two parties who show their ground location. Now, there are two parties here. One of them, these are the ground situation, what they showed on the ground. But on the side plan, this is where it's falling. Please, are you getting me? On the side plan, it falls here. But on the ground, they are all fighting over the same area. The next one, please. This is another one too. What is happening at Central Region is, they do the cadastral plan registration and do the layout to registration. So they have two registration details there. This one you are seeing, this is the layout, but the cadastral plan falls here. And both are also registered. It's an issue where we are at the Central Region. So these are the situations we are having. The differences between this, our layouts, we call layouts, and then the cadastral plans we prepare. What's the last one? This is another one too. This is the situation of the layouts, and the site plan falls here. The ground situation falls here. So you realize that some of these things, it has engulfed the whole system that it has made registration very, very tedious. And you go to the ground and do the Kalasura, they will tell you affected area. But on the ground, they are sharing more money. But they will tell you affected area, so your document can never go through unless they do what we call variation. And the variation, the procedure of variation too is also another body. Go to the last one. So, in conclusion, the coordination factor of the implementation of the program plan is very, very crucial. Each stakeholder has a specific role to play at any particular time. So, for that matter, no interference will be there. And finally, together with understanding of each stakeholder's role, we can build a better future in the area of land development. Thank you for your attention. Remember, no questions.